Hello, Miss Angela, you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Okay, Miss Judy is with us, Miss Angela's with us, so we do have a quorum. We're going to start this meeting at 4:32. So, Miss Judy, can I have approval of the agenda and the minutes? And I know you want to split them up, so I'll let you do that.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to approve the minutes of the Public Safety Committee meeting on January 19th, 2021 as presented.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Angela, we don't have Counselor Savino here, so it's just the three of us in a nice cozy setting.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't know. I feel like I got a little cold, so I didn't want to come out there. So
That's okay.
I just started at the last minute.
Not a problem. We can hear you great, which is awesome. Miss Judy, how about the approval of the minutes?
I just did that, didn't I? What did I do?
Did you do the agenda or the minutes? I think you did the agenda.
What did I do?
I thought we did minutes.
Oh, I thought I did.
How about the minutes?
All right, let's do.
Okay.
I did, that's what I just did, I really think. Anyway, I would move to approve the agenda for the Tuesday, February 16th, 2021 meeting of the Public Safety Committee as presented.
Can we take the word agenda and make minutes? You've already
You're
done
gonna have to,
you've already
whatever.
done the agenda. Let's go for minutes this time.
Now?
You said agenda again.
Okay.
Am I hearing wrong? I think she said agenda twice. it
Nobody
didn't
listened.
matter.
No one listened to me, right? No one listened.
Let's go for minutes this time.
She said minutes first, and then she was doing agenda just now.
Oh, we're going backwards.
I did reverse them.
Okay, so
Madam
since
Chair,
we-
sorry.
You're trying to trick me.
I know. So now I'm approving the agenda.
Okay, so do I have a second for that?
Second for whichever one she said.
Whatever. Thank you.
Okay, so I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay, the approval of the agenda and the minutes in the right order passes. Okay, so now we're at regular items. So I need a motion for number 3, please.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the resolution and send it with a request to approve to full council on the consent agenda, the resolution requiring the removal or demolition of 3 dilapidated structures that are listed in Exhibit A of the resolution.
Okay, there is a motion. Do we have a second, or do we want to discuss it, Miss Angela?
Just one sec. I had it. I think, let me see if I wrote a question on that page. No, I'm okay with that. A second.
Okay, so we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, same sign. Okay, number 3 passes. We're going to postpone 4 because we're going to come up on, go ahead.
Madam Chair, if I could throw something here on number 4, Chapter 8, or we're postponing Chapter 8. I'm sorry, it's the next one. I got a question on.
Okay, on number 5?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to postpone number 4, if that's okay, till our next meeting, which is March 16th, 2021, because we are limited here on our time. So is that
I
right?
have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Right quick. Sorry. If we approve the agenda with that, we approved the agenda with that, and then why didn't we approve the agenda before taking and took that off instead of approving the agenda with that on? That's just a question. I don't know if it makes sense or not.
Because I was told by the powers that be that we needed to postpone it till the next meeting, March 16th.
Madam Chair?
Oh, no, I get that. I was just saying, why didn't we do it when we approved the agenda to approve it with that not on there? That's all, only thing I was asking.
It really doesn't matter whether it's postponed, pulled off, or any of that. is what I'm getting.
Okay, no more questions.
So I would say it's my fault because I didn't read that chapter in Robert's rules. Miss Judy has just
Madam
thrown her
Chair.
head against the
May I-
table. Miss
may
Judy,
I-
do you have a question?
And then this makes it legitimate.
Okay,
I'm glad we are going to postpone it, because what I was looking through is notes. I've got a stack of paper on these ordinances, but this, I believe, is from the July meeting of Public Safety, and we were presented several changes to Chapter 8 that we approved at that time. So they're not here, so I'd like to make sure those get incorporated, so I think it's good that we go ahead and postpone it.
I pulled this one right off our Muni code offline, so it should be the latest and greatest. So if I can get copies of
I'm
that.
going to give this to you.
Yeah, give that to me, because I pulled these strictly right off the Muni code.
Okay. So, I'm just as glad. We
Okay.
discussed it, and we're going to postpone it.
okay. And that'll give us a longer
I
time.
second the
Yes, ma'am?
I said I second the postponing.
Okay. So I have a motion, second. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay, so now we're going to jump over to 5. And Mr. Matthews?
After reading through this, I've noticed on, if you'll turn to page 33 in your handout there, on section 16-36, violations of nuisances and exemptions or exceptions, number 1, in red there, or which does not have a valid vehicle registration and insurance. I believe we struck that, but it did not get taken out. So we can discuss it more, whatever the committee pleases, but to my recollection, that was removed.
Do we know who removed it? Which counselor?
I believe Councilor Moore requested it.
Okay.
And we discussed it in this committee. We
Okay.
just had so many changes, I
Yes,
think
sir.
we overlooked that, but I wanted to verify that before we just removed it.
Okay. Miss Angela, did you have something?
Yes, I remember that in-depth discussion we had at that part that we were going to, remember that part? And we
Okay.
talked about that as public safety, so, that we were going to remove it, and I think we all agreed at that point until.
Okay. Miss Judy, are you good with that?
With that, yes, I am. Thank you.
Okay. And I think we've, everything else, do we want to start at page 1 and work our way through it, or are we good with what we've got? Miss Judy, I'm sure you read it at home.
I have, more than once, actually.
I am sure.
I have a few things. Some's just spelling, or not spelling, but capitalization. But if I could, Madam Chair, just to kind of speed this up, on page 15 of the packet,
Perfect.
which is section 16-6, again, in what I have, again, I'm pretty sure we had approved 16-6 to have 5 sections instead of 4, and we had approved a section D, which was after the now section C, and it was just one line. It said, all properties must have a valid solid waste service account. And I don't recall that we struck that, so if we did, we need to talk about that, but I don't think we did. That was something new in there originally, again, back in July.
Okay, I think, Mr. Patterson?
I'm not sure. There's been so many versions of this that have come through, so maybe we can look at some of these together and figure out where we're at, because as far as I knew, this was the most recent changes, but I could definitely have missed one. Absolutely.
Mike Matthews,
That's what I'm
do you
thinking.
remember?
I remember the conversation on the solid waste, and part of that conversation was that if you reside within the city and you had a water meter, that's included in your bill. So I wasn't sure why we needed that in there to state that they were required, so, but I don't remember, there's been too many conversations. That's why I'd like to take these very slowly and work through them, because every time I read it, I find something else that,
Yes.
it makes sense at the time when we're discussing it, but when I get in my office and really look at it, there's some things that come up like, man, it's not enforceable, or it's not practical, or I start questioning things, so.
So what is our pleasure here? Do we want to bring it back?
We'll make a note of that section and let us look at it, and
That'd be
then
great.
if we can clarify it better at the next month, so we'll do that.
Because, Madam Chair, I didn't know whether we had scratched it. I didn't show that we had, so that's why I'm questioning whether it needs to be in here or not. So
Okay, so we'll
I
bring that.
appreciate that, yeah.
Yeah. What else do you got, ma'am?
I just have just a little bit of wordsmithing. If we're going to see this again, I'm not going to take the time now.
We
I'll
will
get
see it
with
again.
Mike. Is that okay?
Yes, fine with me.
Thank you. Yeah, none of it is substantive.
Okay, can we do the wordsmithing with you, Mike, and just
Yes.
bypass this whole thing? Okay. Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Okay. Miss Angela, do you have anything on this?
No, I'm like her, I saw a few typo kind of things, but, some some capitalization errors, but other than that, I think we already worked through the renumber and all that, so we'll see it again. So I'm like him, those little things, I'll just highlight them, and then when we have conversation, I'll just, but I actually thought there was one more version after this, but I could have been wrong. We keep looking at, I might be getting them mixed up, which one is which, but I thought there was a later one of this, also, so. But if we're gonna postpone it, let's postpone it and move on and talk about the rest.
Okay. So if you've run across any of your capitalization or your punctuation, can you send that to Mr. Matthews so he can put it down?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Mr. Jason Perry, you came over and sat down. Did you want something? What are you doing in my meeting? No. Oh, okay. So you're just visiting, okay. You have nothing,
He was so excited, he's so excited to get to that special meeting that he came way early just so that he can sit close, he didn't, so he came real early because he just was so excited to get to that special meeting. He couldn't just stand it anymore.
there you go. Okay, so we're all good with 16 at this point, Mr. Matthews?
And just for the committee's understanding, I had no intentions of moving this forward to council at this meeting.
Okay.
I will continue to bring this back because I like looking at it throughout the month, and please do, if you have opportunity and you find any of those things, we want to, once we take it to council, I want a document that is this well published and ready to go.
Okay. Okay, so we're done with 5. We're going to bring it back next month, which is March 16th, 2021. So we have no non-action items. Information. Do we have anybody that has questions to any of our departments? Is there any department that wants to come up and tell us anything exciting that's been going on? Look at them all run to the podium at once. I love it.
If you want to update on some of the dispatch things, they're fixing to start into a pretty major
Would you like to
I
come up
wouldn't
and
call it
speak about it?
overhaul, but a bunch of new equipment stuff is coming in tomorrow, so
Okay. Yes, ma'am, just go ahead and talk.
Basically, for the capital projects, our state-funded capital projects are entering their implementation phase. And we are all still, of course, working the floor. That was pretty much the update that Terry had. Like I said, we're getting the systems in, and they're going to be starting to work on all that.
Okay.
okay. She's also starting to, just so you, for your information, she's starting to pull reports and things on number of calls for the chronic nuisances and report to code enforcement and the police department so that they have an actual number of times that they're responding to these locations. So Mr. Bartlett, Terry, the chief are starting to work really close together on that nuisance ordinance. And, because the state's in there, if you're called at that address more than 3 times in a calendar year, then we need to send them notification to get them in the office to come up with a plan to eliminate those responses to that address. So they're starting to pull that. They have the ability at dispatch to pull that information, so they're starting to do that now.
Okay. Okay.
We're also, with our CAD system, we're putting premise alerts on the property in our CAD. And of course, going to provide the reports to Bill.
Okay. Ms. Sanders. I didn't mean to scare you. I don't have a question, but I thought you might want to just kind of tell us what's going on out in the world of emergency management.
Well, we've been busy. Good evening. Is it evening? Is it afternoon? What day is it? We've been working, it's been busy lately with the power outages and all of that, but we've also been working on getting more vaccine into Chaves County just in general. So we've been working with the Department of Health, and we do have a pot, we call it a pod, a point of distributing, scheduled for this weekend here if we get enough vaccine in. It's actually the Department of Health that hosts it and puts it on. We just help provide the facility and some of the logistics, but we hope to vaccinate around 1,000 people. So we would do that this Saturday and then again in 3 weeks. And the way the people are chosen for that is they're registered and they're in the DOH portal, and they'll be pulled if they're eligible to be vaccinated. So they'll be sent the information and they're able to choose a time. They pick that time, so they have so many coming per hour, and then they're vaccinated, and then they're kind of watched for 15 minutes to 30 minutes to make sure they don't have a reaction, and then they're able to go. So
Okay.
we have that tentatively scheduled. Pending that vaccine comes in. I know a lot of vaccine didn't come in today due to the weather from Albuquerque. Most of our vaccine comes from a warehouse in Albuquerque, but that shouldn't impact our pod that we have scheduled for Saturday.
Okay, thank you. Just a top off, thank you. Mike, did you have anything? I see him, I see him. Yes, sir, Jason.
I'm sorry, and I'm not a member of the committee, but can I, because I was going to ask about this, and this is a great time
Sure.
with Karen being up there on the hot seat, but
Yes.
a couple of things. Number one, do we know what the percentages of Chaves County is that now has been vaccinated?
We do. So we do get a report each day. I don't have it in front of me, but
okay.
I'll be certainly able to tell you what it is. So we know how many are registered, how many in each category are registered, and then how many have been actually vaccinated for their first dose and their second dose. So we just started getting a report on Friday that has that information, and it's broke down not only by those sectors, but also by providers. So it tells us a little bit more about how many were given at Walgreens or at Walmart or at the local DOH office or at any of the providers that were giving the vaccine. So we're starting to get better information from the Department of Health.
Excellent. That's good news to hear. I'm glad to hear that. Also, with that on the vaccinations, I think it's worth saying, just in case, not that I know that everybody's listening to the Public Safety Committee, but some people may be, and maybe if the news is listening, this would be something that they need to get out. I've had three people that have told me that they had signed up and they waited and waited and waited, and when they finally called, they said, well, we'd already had you down, but you never responded, and it went to their spam in their emails. So people need to know to check their spam as well, just to make sure that they do not miss that opportunity, because if they miss that opportunity, they've got to go through the whole
Right.
process once again. So I think that's just worth mentioning right now, but
Good
thank
job.
you.
Absolutely.
You're okay, thank you. I wouldn't have thought of that.
No,
I eat spam, I don't go to my spam. Thank you, ma'am.
you bet.
Is there any other department heads that just want to hop off? Matt, you're new at this. Do you want to just come up and tell us what's going on? We have a little bit of time. By the way, I like your service announcements. Those are nice.
Do you? Good.
Yeah, those are
They do a really good job with those. They make me look
Informative,
like
yeah.
I know what I'm talking about. I kind of like them. So really the main thing now is, we've been really busy with the weather and everything else going on, but the biggest thing we're really excited about right now is at the 1st of January, we started our latest recruit academy. We had 8 start. We're pretty positive we've got it figured out that we can have 9 total. Look at him for verification, but the best part about it is we had a second tryout, which was held on the 16th after we actually started the Recruit Academy. Because Recruit Academies are very expensive to run. They're a huge pain to put on in general. So in the process of starting the academy, we're putting them through their EMT class first. And since we needed one more person to fill our roster, we went ahead and held another tryout on the 16th, and we were actually able, for first time in a few years, we actually have a list of 7 candidates on the list now.
Nice.
So that's wonderful news on our end. So we're able to pull that first one up into this academy, so that way we won't have to run another academy. The actual fire academy will start on the 22nd, and so all 9 of those will go through that, and then the 9th one that's missing out on the EMT class now, we'll be able to put him to a college EMT class on the back side of it. So hopefully they'll all graduate and become firemen by May, and we'll be in business again.
That's awesome. Well, don't say that. People out in the world will think that we're not in business, but we
Oh,
are
well,
there.
we're in business no
We're in
matter what,
business.
but
Yeah,
it's
we're
good
there.
business for us when our roster's full. So.
Exactly, exactly.
Anybody
Okay.
have any other questions?
Any other questions? Jason, we'll let you ask. You're hanging out. No?
I'll make a comment.
Sure.
Just on, not just the fire department, but the police department and the animal control and everything with this storm that's come through. I know that's put a lot of more heavy weight on folks. And so just to all of our, whether they're police, fire, animal control, at a time like this when we're inside just griping because the fireplace isn't working or something, and y'all are out there getting the work done. It's just very much appreciative. I know there's been a couple of fires here lately and stuff, and I appreciate that. And also, I'll just go a step further. I was sharing with Councilor Stubbs earlier. I was going down Garden, and I don't know how to recognize folks, but I was going down Garden, and there was a major water leak or something, and they had a manhole pulled out from the road, and the water was all the way to the top, and one of our workers was laying on his belly with his arm all the way down in teen temperatures, trying to get that working and all. So we need to remember that when they're going out there and getting this stuff done, they could get pneumonia and different things, but whether it's the public works, water department, whatever, all of y'all that are out there doing the job to keep us safe, it's very much appreciative. I don't think Roswell really recognizes how blessed we are with such a committed team.
Correct.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you. I'm going to ask one more, the animal control. Do we have Mr.? Nope, no animal control? Okay. Have we done any service announcements for the animal control to make sure people know that there needs to be straw in the housing or anything like that?
I know there's been a ton of announcements go out, and honestly, I've lost track of so many
Okay.
of them.
Okay.
And if I could just add on to what Councilor Perry was saying, the last 3 or 4 days, I've had the opportunity of working very closely with our streets department, our water department, our wastewater treatment plant, all those employees, along with our police and fire, emergency management, and for days now, they've been preparing for this. So I had Lorenzo in my office earlier today, and they had some issues at the wastewater treatment plant. All the crews were on hand. They got it resolved. The general public never knows anything about it. They know they flushed their toilet and things went away. But they didn't know on the backside all them individuals that were working to make sure that happened. Same way with our water department, our street department. I know Quinn Miller and his crew were out every night to probably about 2 in the morning, making sure that the intersections were salted. And on Sunday morning when I went to church, the intersections were really in great shape. Everything was icy. We had an ice storm, but for what they had to work with, I think they've done a great job making sure, and it was just around the clock, all of our departments, making sure that things were taken care of. So I appreciate them.
Okay. Ms. Judy, do you have anything else on this list, our agenda? Miss Angela, do you have anything else on the agenda you want to say to anybody?
No, ma'am, this is the same thing. I appreciate, the fire and those type of things that are going on. I had my comments with the fire chief already about a concern I had. But other than that, I think we're good, and I kept announcing rolling outages, but I live out in the base, and I didn't, I'm glad about that, but I understand it's going.
I'm
Just appreciate everybody being prepared, for whatever is, around.
okay, good.
Thank you. Thanks for all y'all do out there.
Okay. Well, I guess we've come to the end of our agenda, and we will venture on. It's 4:57, and we'll be done with public safety meeting.